give him a hand.
Well, firstly, welcome to this special meeting of the Toowoomba Regional Council. This meeting, in fact, is open to the public. Particularly to my colleagues and the staff who have been heavily involved in this very important process, but also can I acknowledge everyone who's watching via Council's social media. I acknowledge the Aboriginal parties whose songlines traverse these lands we meet on today, the Western Waka Waka, the Guybil, the Jarrawa and the Bigambul peoples, and can I pay my respects to their elders past, present and emerging, for they hold the knowledge, the rich traditions and the bold ambitions of Australia's first people. This special meeting today, ladies and gentlemen, and for those and for my colleagues, is a rather important meeting. Do that. Well, councillors and those of our staff who are in the room, can I welcome you to this special meeting of the Toowoomba Regional Council. This meeting is open to the public, will also be live streamed. I want to thank those of you who are in the room today and also acknowledge everyone watching via Council's social media. I acknowledge the Aboriginal parties whose songlines traverse these lands we meet on today, the Western Waka parties whose songlines traverse these lands we meet on today, the Western Waka Waka, the Guybil, the Jarrawa and the Bigambul peoples, and can I pay my respects to their elders past, present and emerging, for they hold the knowledge, the rich traditions and the bold ambitions of Australia's first people. Before introducing the subject, I'll move to item 2. Obviously, there are no apologies today. Nobody requires to be leave of absence. Is there anyone who has any declarations? If not, we'll move on with the meeting. This objective was originally started by ComSec and as a group of mayors in South East Queensland in a way that we look forward to the future of working together to manage our waste stream. There's a lot of work has gone into this, and can I particularly thank Councillor Nancy Summerfield, who was Council's elected representative throughout the development of this plan and was involved in all stages of its development. To TRC's Manager of Waste, Matt Torr, has also been heavily involved, and to the General Manager, Damien, thank you very much for the work that you've done in guiding this process. Waste is a major issue for everyone, and there's been significant policy at federal and state level in recent times that affects how waste is managed. This ComSec project is an example of looking across Council's boundaries to assess things on a wider regional level as to how best we can manage this potential resource and try to minimise our ongoing impact of it to the environment. This has cost savings to ratepayers and will ensure we play a part to limit the effects of our precious environment. This particular draft plan is not restrictive, but does provide direction and a clear starting point for future detailed discussion on specific infrastructure in other initiatives where councils will achieve greater benefits for working together. It's also a major part of the City Deals project and is constantly mentioned in our travels to Canberra or Brisbane in ComSec as a very important way that we can work together to make the environment and the waste management system and put it in a better place. I'll now hand over to Matt, who will introduce the subject.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Good afternoon, councillors.
Hi, mate.
This report today seeks endorsement from Council on the draft South East Queensland Waste Management Plan. This plan has been developed over the past 12 months by the Council of Mayors SEQ Waste Working Group with support of the Department of Environment and Science and Queensland Treasury Corporation. The main aims of the plan are to firstly to understand the regional waste challenges, opportunities and constraints that are in front of us, to improve the environmental outcomes for waste management, including working towards state waste targets, to provide information to make informed decisions on both infrastructure and non-infrastructure initiatives, to encourage economic development and circular economy, and to establish, strengthen and maintain relationships between ComSec councils in relation to waste management. Importantly, the plan isn't binding on any council. It just provides the framework and priorities on how the councils in the region will work together on this issue. Overall, the plan provides clear direction on waste management, priorities for the SEQ region to ensure best value for the communities while working to achieve the state waste targets. It's therefore recommended that Council endorse the draft SEQ Waste Management Plan to then proceed for adoption at the ComSec board meeting.
Okay, any comments? Councillor Summerfield, given your involvement, would you speak first, please?
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to firstly acknowledge Matt's work in this. I think you've done a really good job, Matt, and thank you very much for all those efforts. The meetings were certainly robust discussions. People put forward their cases very strongly, and it was made quite clear that each council was different, that everybody had different needs and outcomes that they were requiring, and I think they tried very hard to cater for all of those things. And as a result, we can see in the future there'll be collaboration amongst many councils, including ours to the west, south and north of us possibly. So there will be opportunities for good outcomes in that respect, but also in relation to education. I'm a great believer that education around waste is so important at all levels. And one thing that was identified is that we all have differing views on what waste is recyclable, so that will all be pulled together too as a result of this. I think there are beneficial outcomes in relation to the environment and economic opportunities, so I'm very pleased that we've been a part of this, and I think this will be a good guide for us. It's a road, it's a path for all of South East Queensland waste in the future, and I think good outcomes will come from it.
Thanks, Councillor Summerfield. Any other comments around the room? No other comments? You obviously had a very good work through on it yesterday, and I want to thank Matt and Damien for coming to my room when I finally returned yesterday and gave me a good briefing, and I agree with your words, Councillor Summerfield. I think that this is a journey that we need to go on. It's going to be very beneficial not only to us but to our neighbours in all directions. And of course, the bit that benefits the most will certainly be our environment. And I also would like to place on the public record the work that has been done in the Toowoomba Regional Council area. The reduction of waste that's going to landfill has been very satisfying, I'm sure, for all of you who've been involved, and tells a story that we're at the cutting edge of all this and we're doing a great job. Any other comments around the room? If not, the recommendation is before you, and this is a matter. Councillor Summerfield has moved that recommendation. Have I seconded? Councillor Von Hoff. This will be endorsed, I would imagine, on Friday at the Council of Mayors meetings in Brisbane City Hall. Anyone wishing to speak against that? If not, I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Carried without dissent. There's no further business to discuss, so I will declare the meeting closed. Thank you very much for your involvement. It's quick.
Curbside collection.
Thanks, Damien.